Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 260 of the J Situation Podcast. I'm recording this on May 20th, 2025. How are all you wonderful folks doing today? Yeah, I hope you're doing well. I'm a little under the weather myself. Wife got sick, kids got sick. And then you guessed it, yours truly. Yeah, so we're going to give the podcast today the old college try, and I think it'll be okay. But if my voice sounds weirder than usual, that's probably why. So I apologize for that in advance. On today's episode, we're going to hit the technical talks for the Sylvan Arms stuff that you saw published last week. And we're also going to hit an intro talk for another rimfire silencer. Yeah, that's right. Some rimfire pistol data and analysis is going to be live with this podcast today on the off-grid suppressors Scorpius. Yeah, so you've seen two other off-grid silencers from us before, and this will be the third one. So buckle up, strap in, and we're going to talk about some silencers. So we're going to do two technical topics and one intro topic, okay? So let's get on with the show. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. We are very glad to have you here to talk about silencers today. There are timestamps in the episode description, no matter where you're listening. Could be YouTube, could be Spotify, could be the website. No matter where you are, you can find the episode description with all the different timestamps, and you can skip to wherever you would like in the episode, okay? If you want to hang around with me a little bit longer, I'm going to talk to you about some of the companies that make this podcast possible, okay? This podcast is sponsored by Legion Athletics, and boy, am I taking some supplements right now to try to get over this illness. They have some immune supplement. I ran out, so that sucks. So I just, took a bump of pre-workout right before I started recording this because, who doesn't love stimulants? No. But in all seriousness, Legion Athletics is pretty cool. They got whey protein, pre-workout, post-workout, creatine, vitamins, all kinds of different supplements. And the really cool thing is when you use the code word PewScience, they've actually enhanced that now. You actually get buy one, get one, 50% off for your entire shopping cart on your first order. And when you keep using the code, it used to be you'd get like 10% cash back. Now you get 20% every time you use the code, like forever. So that's like double the money for you, which means that's good. So get strong. It's important. Go to Legion Athletics and hit the link in the show notes. It helps the podcast. This episode is also brought to you by Silencer Shop. These folks have been in the game for a minute, and they are the largest distributor of silencers in the world, which is pretty nuts. Silencer Shop endorses PewScience. Okay, that's important. If you are in the silencer industry and you're like want to sell silencers or something and you're a small dealer, Silencer Shop can help you not hold a lot of inventory, simplify the silencer purchasing process for your customers. Use their kiosk, you do your fingerprints, you do your photos, do everything electronically. You will cut down on errors. You will simplify the process. And that is good in this day and age. You get a money-back guarantee, which is pretty crazy too, because not a lot of people do that. So, it's an NFA item. It's forever, but with a money-back guarantee, you can kind of sleep easy, I think. So you don't pay any transfer fees. You don't have any paperwork errors. It's just you and your silencer with no drama. Truly a silencer ownership simplified. And a really great Silencer Shop dealer is actually Top Gun Range out of Houston. They also sponsor the podcast. If you are passing through Houston, I'm pretty familiar with the Houston area. There's a lot of cool stuff to do, but what's cooler than being cool? No, sorry. I'm just gonna break out into an Outcast song. No, ice cold. No, go 15-lane indoor shooting range. Shoot machine guns. Shoot suppressed machine guns for all I care. You can shoot everything you want at Top Gun Range. They have the largest firearm rental fleet in the whole state of Texas, and you can actually rent silencers. It's pretty rad. So yeah, check them out on their website at topgunrange.com. Shoot them a DM on Instagram. They're pretty responsive there too. Kyle and his crew are pretty cool. Sorry, I'm so sick right now. This podcast is also brought to you by Capital Armory. Did you know that silencers are in high demand and it's pretty much gangbusters? It's crazy. So at the current time, the ATF is they're slinging, man. It's fast. The approval times are in a matter of days and hours sometimes. So you need options. Capital Armory is another option for you, and they have a really cool twist. And that's one of the reasons why PewScience and this podcast accepted Capital Armory as a sponsor because we wanted to know, well, what are you going to offer our listeners? Like, why are you important? Well, one of the reasons Capital Armory is important, besides the great good job they do at selling silencers and helping you out with the paperwork, is that they can actually deliver stuff directly to you. And that can be helpful for folks that work nights or like don't live near a gun store or whatever. And if you're in one of the 42 states where silencers are legal, Capital Armory can help you out. So it's pretty dope. You can order a silencer from your living room and have it shipped directly to that same living room. If you're like me and you're literally so busy you barely have time to tie your shoes, Capital Armory might be for you. Okay. Silencer shipped directly to your door. Finally, this podcast is brought to you by Pew Science. If you're not familiar with that by now, it's okay. I'm going to tell you about it. I'm the technical director of the lab, and I have chosen to do this podcast for the past, over 5 years because I really think it helps. This is a public research effort, and sure, we're a private test lab too, but by and large, if we don't explain this stuff to the public and we don't push education forward, what good is it? Okay, so our mission and mandate at Pew Science is to push the silencer industry forward one test at a time. If you go to pewscience.com and go to our frequently asked questions page, at the very bottom of that page, we have said that for 5 years running and we still mean it, okay? When you visit pewscience.com, you will see that we have created the suppression rating, and it is the simplest and the most accurate hearing safe rating for suppressed small arms. It's based on true human inner ear response of the entire gunshot from before the combustion takes place all the way until all the combustion is gone. It is the best. Okay, Pew Science is the home of the silencer sound standard. There are 7 sections, and it is the most in-depth and accurate silencer data and analysis in the known universe created by humans. And it's all available to the public 24/7, pewscience.com, okay? Check it out on pewscience.com all the time. Just live it, breathe it, love it. You can support this podcast. You can support the Pew Science Lab. You can support all the public testing we do for you. And by the way, that's coming soon. It's going to be wild. You can support all that by joining with a membership at pewscience.com, which would, can you tell the pre-workout's kicking in? It is. You can join with a membership at pewscience.com. There's a donate feature on the review page, donate feature on the podcast page. Everything a little bit helps. And you know what? You don't want to spend any money? That's fine. In this economy, inflation's rampant. Interest rates are going up, but you can't buy a house. You're like, Jay, I can barely eat food. How can I support Pew Science? You know what? Don't worry, sir or ma'am. You just spread the word. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just let folks know that silencers and guns are awesome. We got 3 topics for you today. Like I said, we're going to hit the Sound Signature Review 6186, the Sylvan Arms SA30TI. We're going to hit Sound Signature Review 6187, the Sylvan Arms SA223TIS. And then in the third topic, we're going to hit Report 6188, the Grid Scorpius on a 22. Okay, so 2 technical topics and 1 introductory topic. That's how we're going to roll today, and we're going to start at topic 1 at a time of 8 minutes and 14 seconds. Boom. Man, this pre-workout, that's what I'm talking about. See, here's what I did. I took like maybe a little bit less than half a scoop like a couple hours ago just to like get through the end of the workday, just because I had so much to do and I'm feeling like absolute horrible because I'm being sick, But then I was like about to record this podcast and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take another half a scoop. And I'm telling you right now, it just kicked in. And I'm so glad I did that because I feel like I can focus. You understand? Like when I first started recording, I felt like death. But now I feel a little bit less like death, which is great. 1 second. And I hope you can hear the excitement in my voice. It's not just the drugs. Sound Signature Review 6186 is Sylvan Arms SA30TI with supersonic 308. Classic design, smaller diameter, simple and secure mount. Okay, so we're going to do the technical discussions. It's a 30 caliber silencer. It's a white paper published last week. On Wednesday of last week, it was on the 308 bolt action, 7.62 NATO ammunition. Okay, so we did the intro topic last week. You've hopefully had a chance to take a look and done your homework. That is the purpose. That's what we do. We give you at least a week to read the assignment, and then we go over it. So catch up. Okay. 1.4 inches in diameter, 30 caliber rifle silencer, 8.8 inches long, all in with the mount. Oh, and by the way, the mount, which we spoke about last time, it's one of the most interesting things about the silencer to me. Works really well. Taper seal forward of the threads. Great. The threads are coarse. They're ACME threads, that's right. So they're very strong. And also they're hard to mess up. And by mess up, I mean ding them and cause adverse function. Okay. They're also, because they're so coarse, it's very fast to thread the silencer on the gun. Yes. All good things. Acme threads are actually pretty great. And the neat part about this mount in particular is that it's sort of kind of like the old AAC miter mounts in that it has a pawl retention latch. So you hear the clicks, and they're actually clicks from the pawl clicking in the grooves of the mount, yeah? And once it stops moving, the taper is sealed, and then the pawl will prevent you from loosening the mount, going lefty-loosey. Okay? Because it's conventional righty-tighty. And so you have to depress the pawl, cam it up there, and then you can unscrew the silencer lefty-loosey there. So it's very simple, very effective, and the fact it has a taper and a pawl retention mechanism, in my opinion, is good. For example, let's compare and contrast, shall we? We're all friends here. This is in big contrast, for example, to a Surefire mount, Surefire rifle silencer mount, yes? As you know, the Surefire mounts do not have a taper seal. No. How many years of Pew Science research have you seen regarding that? Yeah. Why is that important, ladies and gentlemen? Well, because the Surefire rifle silencers have gas blow-by past the index notch, and that will carbon lock way faster. Ask me how I know. Ask all of you how. You all know because you've all carbon locked it. If you own a Surefire rifle silencer, you've carbon locked it if you shoot it, right? Let's not pretend that doesn't happen. Yes, you can shoot it off, which is cool. But yeah. Okay. Anyway, in fact, all mounts carbon lock. Some mounts take much longer than others to carbon lock. So good design on this mount, I think, from Sylvan Arms. That's my opinion. Silencer's plain black, smooth finish, grade 9 titanium tube, stainless steel blast chamber and blast baffle, and the rest of the baffles are titanium. 14.4 ounces. You add them out, you get 18.5 ounces. Okay, so you're in the realm of weight where you might use it on a semi-auto, you might use it on a bolt gun. It's multi-caliber silencer, size for .30 caliber. So you go nuts, right? Just do not use this on a Magnum rifle. Okay? And don't try to burn it down. Why would I say those two things? Is it because I doubt the construction? Is it because I don't think you should? No. It's because Sylvan Arms says not to. Read the website. Okay? Every article that we publish on our website, in the first paragraph of every article, there's a link to the manufacturer's product page. Like in usually the second word, the first word being the second word is usually the model of the silencer. It's in every article. And this is the 186th, so we're not changing that. So I encourage you, if you ever have a question about a silencer that cannot be answered by the article, then you go to the manufacturer's website. And if you can't be answered there, call them. They have people that work there. Okay, yeah, it's not a hard use silencer. It's a utility silencer that for normal people. Let's be honest, how many people abuse their silencers? I mean, I do, but most people don't. It's fine. So it's just not that type of silencer. Let's be clear, it's a budget silencer with features that punch up for the price. Probably for a lot of people, it's no frills. Very utilitarian. Excuse me. Very utilitarian. Some folks like that type of thing. Others want a Formula One car. There's levels to this. Not everyone needs whiz-bang crazy. Some people want a little more conservative reserved stuff. It doesn't, it's all about your needs and your desires and your wants. So if you're going to use this on a 308 bolt gun, what can you expect from the performance? Well, it's smaller diameter than a lot of silencers, and the technology inside is a little older. But it is tried and true. So why don't we do that? Let's check out some data and analysis and see how the thing works and why it works like it does. Pull up the article. That's going to be SSS.6.186. That's Silencer Sound Standards, Section 6, Subsection 186. That's Article 6.186 at pewscience.com. Man, my throat is starting to really hurt. We're plowing through. Bottom line up front, 19.5 suppression rating at the muzzle, 1 meter left of the end cap, 1.6 meters above the ground in the true free field, 33.2 suppression rating, 6 inches right of the shooter's right ear. That brings us to a total composite suppression rating of 33.5 on the 20-inch barrel 308 bolt-action rifle. Okay. We've been here before, haven't we? We have. The 30 zone on a 308 bolt gun, we've been here, yes, for many years. Very common, well-traveled. Yeah, so let's talk about it. You've been in this regime. This should be old hat to many of you. So let's scroll down to figure 1 here. Scroll all the way down past the table. I know that scares a lot of you. That's okay. Don't be scared. Scroll down to figure 1. Blast overpressure in the free field. Start with the full time regime in figure 1A. What do you notice? What do you notice in the full time regime? Blowdown seems a little quick. A little quicker than you would think for a full-size 308 silencer. It's interesting. So what do you notice when you zoom into figure 1B, which is just the early time of figure 1A? It's the same data, just different time scale. So what do you see when you go to figure 1B? Well, it's interesting. You see a long initial positive phase from those initial jets. Okay. FRP is certainly there too. Definitely diverging in early time. You can see that there. You have to ask yourself, knowing what you know about the silencer, are you looking at a little bit of a lack of expansion inside that silencer that's causing this? And I would say that, yeah, given this data and the contextual clues about the baffle type and size, which remember was like the step normal cone with mill cut type stuff, and given the 1.4 inch diameter OD, 1.4 OD, I think given all those clues and the size of the silencer, I think that's what you're seeing. I think you're seeing lack of expansion. I think what you're seeing is what we discovered happens to these type of silencers back in 2020. You know, when we started this, like 5 years ago, when we started the public research, we went really deep into this type of silencer. We hit the ruggeds, we hit the dead airs, we hit the silencer codes, all that stuff. And, you know, it's all that stuff that you're very familiar with by now, or you should be. And, you know, in all that stuff that you've seen from us, you longtime Pew Science data warriors, you flushed this out. You know, we don't have any ancillary flow paths. We don't have alternate paths. We don't have a lot of stagnation relief, and the native expansion volumes are also not that big in this case because the silencer is only 1.4 inches in diameter, so those interstitial spaces between the baffles are also limited. So what's going to happen here? You know, if you had to describe to me, if I quizzed you on this, asked you what would happen, we would probably want to talk about this using that movie theater analogy we used a long time ago, right? Remember supersonic flow down the restricted hallway with all the people and the bloody slip and slide that results from not enough janitor closets being open to relieve all the blasting body parts, someone running through a crowded theater? Remember, because everything's going supersonically and molecules can't communicate faster than the speed of sound of the medium, and so you're getting that compressible flow and wild shear boundary layers, supersonic land. You're not able to slow that blast propagation as much as you would like. You're slipping and sliding. You're just going right over pockets of gas. There's no way to divert flow. It's not water out of a garden hose, is it? No, it's supersonic compressible flow. That's right. Okay. So when you look at these dynamic effects in the raw test data, you look at it and you're like, well, does the silencer vent really quickly because it's overboard and it has extra vent paths, or is there something else going on? Like, what are you seeing in figure 1B and then now in figure 2A in impulse space when you see the rise to maximum positive phase impulse be higher and that omega metric drop? Is it because there's extra flow paths and there's overboard? No. That's not why. It's not because it has extra vent paths. It's because in this case, it's actually being overwhelmed and saturated, so the blast loads are slipping and sliding right out of there. There's simply not enough expansion efficiency or stagnation relief efficiency in this silencer for this combustion regime. Okay, so what you're seeing here, quite technically, is, did I mention in the article? Hold on. Yeah, it's in Research Note 1, dude. You're seeing an omega drop with a high alpha. Not typical. And because it has nothing to do with venting. The silencer is self-venting from inefficiency with high pressure. I'm trying to think of a parallel. Think Saker. Well, no. Let me think about different. Think Harvester on 308 or something like that. Anyway, if we hadn't been here, or no, Griffin Explorer 3 or whatever it's called, terrible silencer. If we hadn't been here before, it would probably take longer to explain. But we've been here, and you even see some momentum increases through the string. In fact, if you want to look at the blast momentum, you can, figure 2A. You do see some momentum increases throughout the string due to heat buildup, and the fact there's really no way to relieve that. There's a technical explanation in the body of the report. I encourage you to read that on your own time. I want to illustrate something to you right now to help you understand how well this technology scales and how well we understand the technology. It's very important to me personally that you understand what you already understand and why you understand it. Because I don't want you to think that this is gobbledygook crazy time. I want you to understand this is consistent research for half a decade now that is all, and you can connect the dots if you like. You don't have to be Charlie from Always Sunny with the crazy whiteboard and he's going on and on crazy. This is cogent. This is consistently described publicly, sequentially and chronologically. If you change the shape of the baffle just a little and you space them differently and you make things a little bigger in diameter with this silencer, not even that much bigger, just a little bigger, you know what you get? You get rugged radiant. Yeah. Close performance to the silencer too, and the rating is just a little shorter. Guys, look at the rankings table. I don't have to do that for you today. Look at the rankings table. You are in a land once dominated by the Radiant, Short Surge, Banish 30, stuff like that. These silencers are also similar, and for many people, it really doesn't matter which one they're going to pick or have picked, like suppression performance-wise. It becomes about other stuff like durability or quality or looks or customer service or brand longevity or brand loyalty or whether the company's going to be around. Well, how do they treat people? Things like that, and cost, right? I mean, we don't talk about that here on Pew Science a lot, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it here. It's a factor. Cost. That's a huge factor for a lot of people, obviously. And then you look at the mount with this one. Look, and I'm obviously not trying to sell you on this silencer, nor would I try to sell you on any silencer. We do not care what you buy. Take all of your silencers and throw them in the trash. It doesn't affect us. What I'm saying is, when you look at this suppression performance class, there are all kinds of things to think about, just like in other classes. And you may want to make a list of stuff that's most important to you. I mean, if you had Sandman S, let's say you had a Sandman S or a Trash Panda, and you were using those on a 308 bolt gun, and then you shot this, you'd be like, damn, how much does this cost? You know what I'm saying? It's one of those situations because this silencer outperforms a Trash Panda and a Sandman S in 308. Now, a lot of you listening are like, well, those silencers are really old. I'm like, okay, well, counterpoint, it wasn't too long ago that people would buy silencers that were decades old. And just because this is the new age of ATF approvals going at light speed doesn't mean these aren't ubiquitous silencers that should be used for comparisons. So cut me some slack. It's very contextual, okay? All you youngins. No, it's not. Those aren't even old. It's like, anyway. Now, those are some that's some big picture food for thought. Now, it's not all roses, right? Like, okay, take a Otter Creek Labs Polonium 30, which, hey, not a high performance silencer by any stretch of the imagination, but it outperforms this, okay? And again, Otter Creek Labs Polonium 30, not super expensive, okay? Now, different sport due to the design, but still, it's good to know all this. It's good to be able to compare. That's the whole point of Pew Science. So if anybody listening wants to know how I'm able to rattle all of this off, it's from the rankings table. So you have the performance metrics at your fingertips 24/7 at pewscience.com. Literally pewscience.com/rankings. You do not have to be a member to view that page. I encourage you to use that sortable table. There's hundreds of data points on it. Literally. So 1 second. I want to go back really quick. To talk about back pressure and make sure you folks understand something. Let's see here. Scroll down. Oh yeah, member data. Look at that. It's important for you. Gosh, it's a long article. Research note 6 in the article, if you want to review what I'm about to tell you. This silencer, the SA30TI, has an omega metric that is close to that of the Otter Creek Labs Infinity with the Infinity's vented 762 end cap on 2308 bolt gun, okay? Maybe it's a little higher, whatever. Now, does it have the same back pressure as the Infinity? No. Absolutely not. Why? The Infinity has a completely different alpha metric inside the silencer because that blast chamber vents. Late time, the gas momentum's coming out at a similar rate. That's what the omega metric quantifies. But early time, things are happening completely differently. The reason this is important is because some guns care about omega and some guns care about alpha more. And I think if you put both of these silencers on a semi-auto, you're going to be more pleased with the Infinity with the vented end cap, despite the omega metrics being not that far apart, and I don't want you to freak out. So that's the best plain English explanation I can give you in this amount of time. If you have a question about that, email us, tech@pewscience.com. That's TECH, pewscience.com. So you think about, and this is a very good transition point, trust me, you think about semi-autos, and you say, well, this has a lot of titanium in it, Jay. The blast chamber and blast baffle are stainless steel. I like that. But what about the rest? What if I want to use it on an SBR? A lot. Well, to that I say, I bet you're shooting 5.56 because everyone and their mom wants to do that. That's fine. Let's examine what the same type of technology with all steel baffles and a dedicated 5.56 bore does in the next topic. We'll do that at a time of 28 minutes and 4 seconds. Perfect. That's good. That's a good transition because now we can talk about the same technology but scale differently. What is this? Some kind of operation where we control variables? That's crazy. He's not peer reviewed. If only you knew. We are. Now for something completely different. I'm going to pull up Article 6, 187. 187. Don't want to say that too loudly. So you take the SA30TI, you shrink it down to 7 inches, and that's with the mount installed. You take everything that was titanium inside the thing, and you make it all steel. You shrink the bore to 5.56. You keep the tube titanium, and then you lower the total weight with the mount to around 16.5 ounces. And what do you get? You get the SA223TIS. That's right. The simplest description of this silencer on an M4, 14.5 inch gun, the simplest description I can give you of the SA223TIS on an M4 is a budget RC2 with a better mount. I know. Bear with me. Okay. Is this a surefire SOCOM 5.56 RC2? Absolutely not. No. For a lot of people, will it do similar things for them that they're using their silencer for, like an RC2? Yes. Actually, yes. So again, like in the last topic, it's all about perspective. It's not a world beater. Never said it was, but it's getting closer to a lot of higher performers historically than you may think, and that's why I like this. I like this game because we get to actually see real information and we get to talk honestly about it, which is cool. So let's look at it. Review 6187 if you don't have it up. Bottom line up front, 31.1 suppression rating, 1 meter left of the end cap, 1.6 meters above the ground in the true free field. 18.8 suppression rating, 6 inches right of the shooter's right ear in the same test. That brings us to a composite suppression rating of 31.5 on the 14.5-inch M4A1 mid-gas rifle. Now, that's a lower shooter's ear suppression rating than you see a lot of times in the Mark 18, right? Yes. You got to keep in mind this is not a Mark 18. Remember that. This gun is more overgassed as a system. And you know what? I'm going to share some... Okay, I didn't plan on saying this, but you know what? The pre-workout's helping me. I got in an argument once with a client, not to be named, about the term overgassed. So I am going to tell you when I'm using the term, when I say the M4A1 mid-gas 14.5-inch barrel Daniel Defense, the M4A1 R3 with that 0760 gas port at the mid-length position on the barrel, 14.5-inch barrel. When I say it's more overgassed than the Daniel Defense 10.3-inch Mark 18 with the 070 gas port at the carbine gasoline position with the much shorter dwell time, when I say the M4 is more overgassed than the Mark 18, it's because it is. Okay? I'm not saying they need to change the rifle. I'm saying it is more overgassed than the Mark 18 is, meaning that the ejection port blast on the weapon, given the same type of silencer or the same silencer, will be more intense. All other things equal. I do not care what you want to call that. You can call it purple monkey elephant instead of overgassed. I don't care what you call it. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. And it's from gas. Okay? The end result is elevated shooter ear blast hazard. Blast overpressure hazard. Blast momentum transfer potential hazard. Okay? Don't if the word overgas triggers you and you hate adjustable gas blocks for some reason because they make you like lose your mind, then that sounds like a personal problem. Okay? I just want to tell you, when you look at the M4 data on what we're doing, it takes a hell of an advanced system to lower the operator risk on that host. Okay? You know this from looking at all the other systems that have been tested on it, and it is very interesting what a silencer has to be able to do to get that rating higher on this gun at the shooter's ear. Now, keep in mind, this is an untuned gun, so this is giving you a conservative, free field hazard estimate for your rifles. If you are tuning at all, you're going to be in better shape at the shooter's ear with several silencers, okay? Like if you shrink that gas port at all, you're going to really reduce your hazard. Do you need a case study for that? Yes or no? I don't care. I'm going to give you one. Article 6.110 and 6.111. Go read them on your own time. That's years ago. We've already proven it to you. It's the case study's written. It's everything you need to know about shooter, the magnitude of shooter hazard reduction, isolating everything, and the only variable being gas port size. Right now, 6.111 and 6.110. That's the Maximum Defense DSX Surge versus Mark 18. Go read it. It's been published years ago. If you haven't read that and you're a Pew Science member, ooh boy, you better read it. All right, let's look at some data now. Figure 1, scroll down. Blast overpressure in the free field, again, some similarities, like I promise. Remember, I told you the same technology. Some similarities to what we saw before with 308, right? But some things are changing. We talked about this in Research Note 1 of this article, I think. I remember the time. Yeah. Research Note 1, that's right. Talk about there. Your blowdown duration is longer. It's kind of wild. But that's because you're tripping into an efficiency zone where you aren't oversaturating as much. So you are filling some cavities that then have to empty. But your sights are shorter, and the bore is tighter, and you have a higher back pressure. The silencer actually doesn't get as overwhelmed. That's a technical way of saying this is actually, I think, a sweet spot for this particular baffle design, and you see it in the performance. Kind of cool. If you had a war comp mounted RC2, one moment. Jeez, man. If you had a war comp mounted RC2, I know that you cringe when I say that, but you know how many people have war comp mounted RC2s on M4s? Okay, let me repeat. If you had a war comp mounted RC2 on an M4 and you were shooting it, and your buddy was shooting the Sylvan Arms SA223TIS, your third buddy that's getting beer out of the cooler, he might think you guys were shooting something very similar. Okay, not that your third buddy is going to shoot with beer, just relax. The suppression rating reflects that. They're similar. Are they going to sound different? Yes. But are they going to be similar risk? Also yes. Completely different technologies, but similar performance. Now, you put the RC2 on a 3-prong, now it doesn't have that super severe leak anymore from that war comp venting near the crappy mount interface. Well, now the Surefire system pulls away. So then the RC2 definitely outperforms the Sylvan Arms silencer there. But hey, okay, so and you got to be real with you. Now, take a Surefire Mini 2, like the 5.56 Mini 2 on this gun. Sylvan Arms outperforms that one all day long. Now, is that a fair comparison? Well, maybe not, because the Mini 2 smaller, but I'm giving you peg points, right? Okay, we have the data. You can look at it yourself. Heck, you look at the Knights can. This is all in the article. Knights Armament QDC, CRS, PRT, ABCD, EFG. Same operator experience with gassing? Absolutely not. But in gross suppression performance, the Sylvan Arms silencer outperforms the Knights. I know you don't believe me. You should. Go buy them and shoot them side by side. Then report back. Do it in the true free field, away from all reflecting surfaces. Use the same exact ammunition we do. Use the same firearm configuration we do. Put the stock in the same position. Everything's detailed on the website. You can duplicate these experiments. Go duplicate it if you don't believe it. Come back and we'll talk about it. In 5 years, no one's said our data's wrong in 5 years. So do it. Still waiting. There's something for Pew Science members which is going to be really important to look at, and that's the shooter's ear data. If you scroll all the, this is actually really important. I'm serious. And I'm sorry, the folks that aren't not members, you can't see this, but for members, 6.18, 7.1.2 sound signatures of the shooter's ear in the article. It's going to be figure 3A, 3B, 4A, and 4B. You are seeing high back pressure problems. It is important to see the positive phase impulse run away here. That is a technical term for ejection port blast town USA population U. If you are a member, look at figure 4A. If that is not an argument for shrinking your gas port on the M4, I don't know what will be. I know that a lot of you armorers and manufacturers don't like adjustable gas blocks because of you think that people shouldn't tinker. You think they affect reliability. You think they add more complexity. You think they add a failure point. I am not disputing any of your points. I am not disagreeing with you necessarily in principle. However, what I will tell you, and I will tell your consumers and your customers, is that changing the gas port orifice size for a suppressed AR-15 by whatever means practical can reduce shooter risk. I don't care if you don't like that opinion because it's not a supposition, it's a fact. Okay? So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Think about it, whatever you will think about. I don't care. I'm just telling you. I've seen a lot of people say, "Well, I just don't use adjustable gas." It's like, you don't have to use adjustable gas buck. Get a new barrel and drill the gas port smaller than it was before. Do whatever you think you need to do, but change the weapon. Because guess what? When you put a silencer on a gun, you have changed the weapon system. I don't care. I don't care that it still works. It will be different for the operator. I'm not saying you have to shrink the gas port. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you should know what happens when you do. Okay. Scroll down, look at figure 5. It's a bar chart. This SA223TIS is middle of the pack. Again, outperforming some of the smaller silencers and outperforming some of the higher flow rate silencers at the muzzle. But it's getting outperformed by the advanced stuff at the muzzle. Yes. Okay. Now, this is kind of interesting and kind of cool to me too. It kind of harkens me back to the early days of Pew Science, because the wild part here is the M4 dataset's not that big yet, and so you have some wild heavy hitters in it. It's crazy. You got 3D printer wonder silencers in here. You got some Wunderkinds, right? You got the Spiritus, you got the WB, you got the Flow 556, you got the X1R 556Ti. Guys, it's wild. Yeah, you got the Mod 1, the BOE Mod 1. Okay, that's a bigger silencer, but even so, it's really hitting. So, dude, it is a tough world out there. It's tough out there to be an M4 silencer, isn't it? You got juggernauts coming to play. I mean, Pew Science, like when we first started, you remember this. If you were here like 5 years ago, when I was just testing, I was just testing my own silencers to see what would happen, and then I'd publish them. And then I was testing like the stuff that people wanted, just to say, hey, what does the Sandman S do? I don't know. What does a 762RC2 do? I don't know. And we test it, whatever, and people are like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. But now, because Pew Science got so popular, you got manufacturers coming to us directly. So you get things like the Vent Spiritus, which is like, dude, that silencer's so crazy. Oh my God. And we've tested other silencers that are crazy too. You haven't even seen them all yet. Oh my God. It's getting so crazy. And I'm just looking at this chart, and yeah, we're running the gamut. We got the 556 QDC, MCQ, PRT, ABCD, EFG from Knights, from that huge Knights study we did, and you see the suppression ratings are down in the teens. And then you see like the Spiritus and the Mod 1 is at 44 at the muzzle. It's like, oh my God. It's like, this is so nuts. And so you see the SA223, it's actually kind of holding its own. And that's so cool. How cool is that you have so many extreme ends of the spectrum and you get to compare? That's so neat. It's really cool to see the data set get bigger. And I really, when you see this, I think really RC2 on a war comp on an M4, if you've shot that system, I'll sum up this one to you suppression wise. I think it's similar. I think that's a good peg point. And I hope it's a good perspective for some folks who might be interested in a budget silencer. That might check all the boxes you need. Traditional look, solid mounting system, include, it's good for what you want to do with it. I think, could be a good match for some of you. I don't know. Now, I do want to give you a word of warning. Don't compare it too much to the RC2. Okay. RC2 loves the Mark 18. Okay. This Sylvan Arms silencer, it doesn't love the Mark 18 as much. You're going to drop performance efficiency on short barrels, okay? So that RC2 thrives on short barrels, okay? So keep that in mind. This is a 14.5-inch AR test. Is a Mark 18 going to be not as good for the SA223TIS? No, it's not. Is it going to drop the performance? Yes, it is. Okay? Okay. Just telling you. This is facts. Now, all in all, I am very glad we were able to evaluate silencers like this in 2025, seeing how far we've come in the research over the past 5 years. It's very important for us to know where we came from, where we are, and where we're going. It's very important. It is fantastic to know where the technology sits. It's fantastic to know how our earlier research still applies, which it obviously does. If you look at these silencers, you'll find that the results are very congruent. And on another positive note, I think it is just plain fantastic that we have a silencer company like Sylvan Arms deciding to let us publish these technical reports. The silencers aren't world beaters, but they're practical, performing silencers, and they want their customers to know what performance to expect. And that's admirable. It really is admirable. They put their money where their mouth is, dude. Literally. And here we are. You don't, guys, some of you might not realize, and I'm not trying to patronize, but some of you might not realize you create something, you manufacture something, you put your baby on display with a third party testing it, and they trust me. That's man stuff, man. That's like cojones. You know what I mean? It's important. It's like they leave it all out there. It's vulnerable. It makes you feel vulnerable when people scrutinize what you do. Ask me how I know that. Been doing this stuff 20 years, and there's about to be 188 articles on this website for world public scrutiny. These people that make silencers, it's hard work. They put their design on display, and then they have someone test it. That's hard. It doesn't feel good sometimes. And people who do it, I think it's a big deal. So thank you. Big up Sylvan Arms. That's a big deal to me. Big deal to a lot of our listeners, a lot of our readers. It's important. I've seen people thank you for it publicly. I think that's genuine. That's cool. And we're super proud to do this work for you. And I think these are cool silencers. I think they look cool just because I'm into old black smooth silencers. I think they're classy. That's my opinion. I'm allowed to have an opinion, and that's what I have. So, okay. I think that's about it all on that. But now for something completely different. We're going to head back to rimfire. First we went 308 supersonic. Then we went 5.56 M4 super hazardous just because it's an AR. Now we're going to rimfire because we're crazy. God help us. At a time of 46 minutes and 27 seconds. I could not do this without pre-workout. Oh my God, dude. I'm going to pay for it in the morning. Topic 3, sound signature review 6188. The off-grid Scorpius on the Beretta 21A subcompact 22 rimfire pistol. Some more rimfire data analysis for you folks. This is cool. For perspective, I think, too. And it's cool to see new silencers, I think. Small, light, quiet. Is it quiet, though? No. You should check out the report to find out. I'm just going to intro talk because, I don't want to spoil the surprise. It's a lightweight 3D printed silencer. It's a white paper. It's published today with this episode. It's off-grid suppressors. They're back. Did you think they left? No, they never did. You guys sleep on these small companies. Well, you shouldn't. I'm talking to everybody, not just consumers. Not just consumers. DMLS, 3D printing has changed the game. 3D printers are everywhere. Designers are everywhere. There's a lot of people with good ideas. Those ideas are coming to life. I think creation is important. Imagination, creativity, innovation is important. GE, we bring good things to life. Remember that marketing, and remember that GE also makes weapons. Did you know that? That has nothing to do with this topic. I just tell you that. Off-grid Scorpius, the easiest way for me to explain this to you is actually a simple reality. Remember the Mercy Firearms Pluto? I remember. Think Pluto, but add annular lattice. I know. What do you get when you do that? Well, you get the Scorpius. And you haven't seen the Pluto on a pistol. That's fine. And you haven't seen the Scorpius on a rifle. Also fine. But let me tell you something. The lattice increases efficiency with high pressure. Okay, read between the lines. Okay. We are moving toward really not pursuing bolt action 22 testing much anymore, simply because it doesn't tell us a lot. And if it doesn't tell us a lot, it's not telling you a lot. We think that 22 pistol tells us a whole lot more. Particularly really short barrel, tiny pistol. The Beretta Instagram accounts, not the Beretta Instagram accounts, let me be fair. The gun influencer YouTube Instagram account people like to put they like to put their dang Beretta Bobcats on the damn good lighting photograph thingy with all the different silencers with their special cameras, and they want to show pictures of these tiny silencers on this gun and pretend, oh, it's so Hollywood quiet, it's so good, 140 dB. Newsflash, you better come to play when you try to suppress a tiny semi-auto 22 pistol, because some companies are coming to play, and we will show you which silencers perform well and which do not on this host. They are not all created equal. I know you've seen some humdingers from us recently, but that's because those are companies with balls to send stuff to Pew Science. Do you think that like trends upward sometimes if they're confident enough to send it to an independent lab? Yeah, consider the playing field, bro. Okay, I'm not trying to be rude, but like I realize I might be being rude right now. I'm sorry. It's the drugs. Drugs are bad, okay? This model, the Scorpius. Oh, dude. Dude, if you like the Pluto, dang, man, like this is a little power up. I mean, it's not crazy different, but hey, that little lattice, it's kind of cool. And I think when you see the data, and what's really cool to me is the FRP control, the suppression ratings. Dude, I think you're going to kind of smile just because, like, I think that this is kind of what it's all about. Small, light, high-performing, simple. 3D printed, yeah, use chemicals to clean it. We have the technology. It's 2025. You can clean a silencer. Now, this is getting more common. It's not slowing down. It's not stopping. It's not getting less common. There will be more. There will be several more. Silencers are like they're unlocked. We've unlocked silencers. 3D printing's here. Can we all agree now? The market's expanding in both people making them and the technologies being created. It's an arms race, dude. Features now 1-inch diameter, 5 inches long, 2.2 ounces, titanium. Use the dip to clean it or something else. Go nuts. You can do it. Suppression rating on a tiny gun's not too shabby. There are some technical things that I do want to talk with you about regarding the Scorpius, but it's going to wait until next week. Okay, it's going to be a technical talk. I'm going to let you guys read this article first. So read it. It's live with the episode, or at least it will be at 0700 Central Time on Wednesday, tomorrow for me, today for you. So enjoy, digest, be merry, ask questions. You know we love to answer the questions. We're going to be back next week with the technical deep dive for the silencer, but also we're going to be back with some potentially extremely controversial data and analysis, I think, which is just, it's one of those things we'd like to do sometimes because it, by popular demand, things, and why not? Because we're, because it's, it's the middle of the year and sometimes you got to be a little aggressive. So it's going to be fun, okay? I mean, maybe it's fun for some people at least. It's going to be great. I hope you like the research. I'll talk to you again soon.